Welcome to Fort Lewis College. Have you been treated well so far today? No. And thank you to the orientation leaders and the directors of the residence halls and all the people who are here to help you through the first day, the first week, the first month, the first year. In choosing to pursue higher education, you are here making a change. You're changing your life for the better. This is a test. You will have to prove yourself. As Eric Hoffer says, it takes self-confidence to face drastic change without inner trembling. I know I had inner trembling when I was starting. But this change is also going to be fun. You'll have new friends, laughter, tears, stress, joy. And when you return to this gymnasium in your caps and gowns and sit in those very seats at your graduation, I hope you will think back to today and think of the change. I hope you'll be able to see what a remarkable change this place will have made in your life. Because you see, I believe that education truly changes lives. If I were to write a short essay on what I believe, I would write on my belief that education changes lives. And I would use my own life as an example. I was a farm wife at age 18, a college freshman with 3 children at 30, a PhD from the University of Minnesota at 40. If you were to write on this question, what do I believe? Think about what you would write. Large issues, the meaning of life. Small issues, such as I want to set attainable goals, and that's important. I want to go to class unless I have a fever over 102. Come to think of it, that is not a small issue. You really have 2 reasons not to go to class. One is that you're in the hospital. The other is that you're on your way to the hospital. Yes. Parents like that one. In the 1950s, the famous journalist Edward R. Murrow hosted a radio program called This I Believe. It was only 5 minutes long, but it became a cultural phenomenon that stressed individual beliefs rather than religious feelings. How many of you have ever heard of This I Believe? Oh, just a few of you. Murrow had developed a very concise way of speaking on the radio. During World War II, his predecessor at CBS Europe had started his broadcast by saying, "Hello, America, this is London calling." Murrow shortened that to his signature phrase, "This is London." You still hear Murrow's influence in the slogan used at CNN, when the voice of James Earl Jones intones, "This is CNN." Murrow used that method in many of his titles, including the show, This I Believe, which was originally meant as a format to allow what Murrow called thoughtful men and women to express what they want from life, what they want in material things, and the relative importance of moral and spiritual things. The format of the show allowed each contributor just 3.5 minutes to state their beliefs, which turns out to be 500 to 600 words. 100 of the first essays were published in a book in 1952 that was wildly popular. Only the Bible sold more copies that year. The format was revived in other radio shows, most prominently in the 4-year series on NPR that started in 2005. Same format. You can still hear a weekly version of this show on The Bob Edwards Show, which airs on Sirius XM. Several books have appeared in the last 10 years that collect essays that were originally read on the air. The format of having to write an extremely short essay that encapsulates one's deepest beliefs results in stories that can be inspiring to read. One woman writes about what she calls the learning curve of gratitude, which she experienced a recovery from the depression that followed a near brush with death brought on by a pulmonary embolism. Her recovery was triggered by an extremely mundane event. At a supermarket, a young man checking out her groceries asked her whether she wanted paper or plastic, and then told her to enjoy the rest of her day. She felt he really meant it, and she needed it. "It stopped me in my tracks," she wrote. "I went out and I sat in my car and cried." With that simple act, she says that she knew she had more days to live and to experience the learning curve of gratitude. And that was what she believed that helped her to get through every day. Another writer says that failure is a good thing. A good cook or a professional chef can cite examples of burns or cuts they received in the kitchen. Those failures led to success. He also said that his daughter, who had worked as a trapeze artist, felt she had to change her act because she was getting bored. She risked failure and found public embarrassment at times in order to feed her soul. You don't have to be a trapeze artist to understand the belief that sustains the newspaper columnist. Even though I don't suffer from a life-threatening illness, I think I can grasp the importance of learning the curve of gratitude described by the first writer. Joy Harjo is the author of this year's common reading experience, Crazy Brave. She describes how she's someone who survived abandonment and abuse, as noted in the review by Rebecca Steinitz. Rebecca goes on to note that Harjo tells how she became one of the most acclaimed Native American poets. The dynamic between the individual tale and the group is purposeful from the book's first pages. Harjo believes we enter into a family story and then other stories based on tribal clans, tribal towns, lands, countries, yet we each have our own individual soul story to tell. Clearly, Harjo believes in the importance of individual soul stories and in the importance of family stories. She believes in the survival of spirituality and creativity. In the face of racism, in the face of family dysfunction, she also believes in resilience, in self-rescue, in survival. Please take the time to read Crazy Brave and listen to Joy Harjo speak when she comes on campus. The experiences of others through books, lectures, plays, concerts are an important part of college change. Take advantage of that. If I could have each of you express your deepest beliefs in just 600 words, those beliefs would not be the same. We are all shaped by different circumstances and different experiences. But I am sure you wouldn't be here now if you didn't believe in some part of your being that you could succeed here in college. You have all had experiences that shaped your belief in the power of education and in your belief in yourself to succeed. This may seem obvious to you, but I want to point out that believing you can succeed in college sets you apart from the general population. A survey found that only 27% of the general population had a college degree And that means there were many others who do not. To put this in a worldwide perspective, a study found that fewer than 7% of the world's population have college degrees. That is the group you are entering and are going to become a part of. Believing you will succeed and doing it, of course, are two separate things. So I want you to repeat after me. In fact, raise your hand. Students. Parents, you've already succeeded. This is for students. Students, repeat after me. I will succeed.
I will succeed.
This I believe.
This I believe.
With that belief and with hard work and going to class, I know I'm addressing the graduating class of 2021. This I believe. Thank you.